Welcome to Anaphrem Market Perspectives.
Anaphrem Market Perspectives, Friday Recap. Jobs Day, Tariff Whiplash, and AI Earnings. What this week really meant. Welcome back to Anaphrem Market Perspectives. It's Friday, September 5th. After a holiday-shortened start, this week delivered plenty of signals, jobs data, tariff headlines, and two big AI earnings that shaped investor sentiment. Let's break it all down. Index check, a steady grind higher. All three major indices moved higher this week. The S&P 500 gained about 0.8%, the Nasdaq climbed 0.6%, and the Dow added 0.8%. Nothing dramatic, no big breakouts or meltdowns, just a steady, deliberate grind into Friday's jobs report. For investors, that kind of controlled advance can be just as important as the eye-catching rallies. It signals confidence, but also caution, as markets wait for clarity on both economic growth and policy. S&P 500 weekly heat map. Leaders and laggards technology didn't move as one block this week. Instead, we saw a clear split. Winners. Alphabet was the standout, jumping nearly 12% after favorable antitrust rulings. Apple added 4%, while Amazon climbed close to 3%. Micron rose more than 5%, Broadcom advanced 2%, and healthcare helped too, with United Health up 2.1%. General Electric added 3.3%, and Walmart surged 5%, proving once again that defensives can shine when uncertainty rises. Laggards Nvidia slipped 5.5% as new concerns surfaced around China's chip sector. Texas Instruments fell nearly 9%, AMD and Tesla both dropped more than 3%, and Oracle gave back over 5%. The takeaway? Breadth wasn't bad. Financials and healthcare quietly carried weight while flashy AI and semiconductors cooled off. It was a reminder that markets can lean on old-school strength when momentum names take a breather. Trump tariffs. Why this week mattered? Trade policy was back at the center of the conversation. A federal appeals court ruled that much of the Trump administration's tariff strategy likely overstepped emergency powers. For now, the levies stay in place, but the administration has appealed to the Supreme Court and asked for an expedited ruling. That means businesses have to plan around tariffs today, while facing the real possibility that rules could flip within a quarter. Meanwhile, Canada dropped many of its retaliatory tariffs on U.S. goods, signaling some thaw in cross-border tensions. But uncertainty remains, especially for exporters on both sides of the border. On the ground, tariff instability is hitting hard. John Deere flagged weaker farmer demand and announced fresh layoffs. Smaller manufacturers reported price spikes on imports from China and India, costs they simply can't pass through. At the macro level, the dollar slid to a 5-week low, and gold hit a record above $3,500 an ounce, as investors leaned into the idea of a September Fed cut while hedging trade and policy risk. The bottom line, tariffs are still here, still impacting margins and prices, but their legal future is uncertain. For investors, that's a volatility story waiting to unfold. The weekend data, cooling, not cracking. This week's economic calendar was dense. Here are the highlights. Eurozone. Manufacturing PMI came in at 50.7, back in expansion territory, while unemployment held steady at 6.2%. U.S. manufacturing, S&P Global PMI showed strength at 53, but ISM manufacturing slipped to 48.7. Hiring was soft, with employment at 43.8. Construction spending fell slightly. JOLTS job openings, 7.18 million. Down again, confirming that demand for workers is cooling. ADP payrolls. Just 54,000 jobs added, missing expectations. Productivity and labor costs. Productivity rose 3.3% in Q2, a strong figure, while unit labor costs grew just 1%, a tame result that helps the inflation picture. Services. ISM services held around 52, showing continued expansion. Prices were sticky but eased slightly. Trade. The U.S. trade deficit widened as imports rebounded. Asia. China's Caixin PMIs ticked up, manufacturing at 50.5 and services at 53, signaling momentum after months of weakness. Heading into Friday's official payrolls, Wall Street expected a gain of 75 to 80,000 jobs, unemployment at 4.3%, and wages up 0.3% month over month. That's the sweet spot for a September Fed cut, a labor market cooling without collapsing. VYX, calm with an asterisk. The VIX hovered around 16.6 all week. On the surface, that looks calm. But under the hood, options desks have been paying up for upside protection. If tariffs shift again, or if jobs data surprises, volatility could spike quickly. Think of it as a calm sea with waves building just beneath the surface. Bonus: Monday's picks in review ETF. QQQ. The NASDAQ 100 ETF grinded higher, staying above the Ichimoku cloud with a gently positive MACD. This wasn't a breakout week. It was a steady buy-the-dip setup that rewarded patience. Broadcom AVGO reported Thursday evening. Beat expectations, EPS $1.69 versus $1.66, revenue $15.95 billion versus $15.82 billion. On the chart, Broadcom held its cloud support, defended technical levels, and kept buyers engaged. Not euphoric, but constructive. Salesforce, CRM, reported Wednesday evening. Delivered EPS $2.91 versus $2.78. Revenue $10.2 billion versus $10.14 billion. But guidance was cautious, and the stock reacted with a gap and fade. It stabilized near its Ichimoku cloud, with MACD momentum starting to improve late Thursday. The read? Broadcom reinforced its AI networking strength, while Salesforce gave investors a solid quarter but left them waiting for stronger guidance. Final takeaways. This week, the market rewarded boring consistency. Indices edged higher, semiconductors cooled, and mega-cap platforms like Google, Apple, and Amazon carried the weight. Tariffs are still in force but legally shaky, adding a new layer of uncertainty as companies head into the fourth quarter. Economic data painted a picture of cooling, not cracking, which fits the Fed's soft landing narrative. For positioning, stay core, long QQQ, keep an eye on Broadcom for steady strength, and watch Salesforce for a technical turn. With the VIX still under 17, hedging remains cheap. That's the week. Thanks for joining us here at Anna from Market Perspectives. We'll be back Monday with your market preview, the next earnings spotlight, and fresh ETF and stock picks. Stay tuned. Stay strategic.
Thanks for watching. If you found this valuable, hit subscribe and share this with others. See you next time on Anna from Market Perspectives.